What's up, everyone? This is Kronos, aka Adam, back with another WWE Week In review. Happy New Year. If you're watching this, you've made it to 2021 somehow, some way. It's been a rough one on all of us, but happy to hear that you're here. So as always, what I like to do is I go over everything that happened with Raw, NXT, Smackdown that happened during the week, try to give you as much detail as possible, as if you were there or as if you watched it, even if you didn't have a chance to watch it. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. Obviously, the wrestling world is still reeling after the loss of John Huber, aka Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper. So there were some subtle and not so subtle tributes to him on WWE. Obviously, he was no longer with WWE at the time of his passing. But it was really nice that the wrestlers there, and I believe they did some stuff on social media. I didn't get to see that yet, but. So I digress. Let's just jump right into it. Got a lot to do. I want to get ready because final weekend of football. As a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'm very eager to see my team win. Don't hate me if you're a Cowboy hater. Just who I am. So we start off with Raw. Brody Lee Memorial kind of screen there, in memory of. Drew comes out to the ring. That sort of thing, I think, is getting a little overplayed at this point. When he puts the sword in, it's too much at this point. He does give a Brody Lee shout out. It's Monday. You know what that means. Obviously, he's had a crazy year. Mentions Sheamus. His music hits. Says, Sheamus says, well, I told you there was going to be no BS during the match. Clearly, he bro-kicked Keith Lee after the match was completed. So Sheamus is talking about how a match between the two of them for the WWE title would be amazing, and it would be hugely physical. Lee's name obviously gets mentioned. He comes out. He says there's no trust anymore, not just between Sheamus, but between Drew as well, and Drew understands that. Sheamus may stab him in the back. Sheamus takes exception to that. Drew calls for a ref to start the match right now because apparently there's going to be a match, and the winner would face Drew next week. Sheamus with the two sneak attack bro kicks. So we get our number one contenders match, Lee versus Sheamus. Drew's on commentary. Sheamus attacking the left arm and shoulder of Lee. Sheamus dumped hard on the outside. Lee sending Sheamus into the post. We get Sheamus from the top to the floor, sends Lee over commentary. That was actually pretty wild because Sheamus, a big man going all the way from the top to the outside. He hits his 10 beats. Sheamus gets pounced in midair when he tries to go to the top again. Lee is manhandling Sheamus at this point. We get a fun splash by Lee for a 2 count. Sheamus is able to power him up for a white noise for a 2 count. We get the Grizzly Magnum double chop and then the Spirit Bomb for the win. So Lee doesn't make quick work of Sheamus, but yeah, this was hugely physical. Obviously, there's going to be more to this. I mean, we're looking at a Sheamus Drew a match for the title at some point. So whether he gets involved or something, who knows. But Lee confronts Drew. They jaw a little bit. We then see Elias backstage playing with Riker. We get a knocking at the door. He's told to ignore it. Miz versus Grand Metalik. We get a Lucha House Party promo before the match. The contract pursuit was useless as his acting career. The Money in the Bank contract. Grand Metalik going for pins early. Miz looks upset and head's not in the game. We get a moonsault by Grand Metalik to the outside. That connects. Miz counters a springboard back into the ring. Grand Metalik with a float over pin for the win. Miz is absolutely in disbelief at this point. I don't know if we're going for a Christ the Confident storyline or what. I mean, he still has the bread. Well, we'll find out what he gets later. We get back to Elias in his room. Someone's knocking really loud. Amos and AJ burst in. AJ trying to talk to management. And Amos is trying to listen to Mozart. Riker tries to step in, but Amos gets right in his way and he starts to back down. Elias tries to shun AJ, but AJ just shuns him back and challenges him to a match. So we get Dana Brooke versus Shayna Baszler. Mandy's out with Dana. Nia is not out with Shayna, which I thought was interesting. Dana's aggressive early. She keeps avoiding the arm stomp. Shayna then destroys the arm on the apron. We get Dana fighting back with one arm, basically. Shayna with the clutch on the outside. Shayna then attacks Mandy to break the count. I don't know why. Dana breaks up that attack. We get a spinning neck breaker by Dana for a 2 count. Shayna hits a step-up knee into the clutch for the win. Shayna then puts the clutch on Mandy, who is tending to Dana. Remember when they tried to make Dana and Mandy like, a thing, and whatever, legit tag team contenders? Yeah, I remember that. I don't remember how long ago that was. It feels like it was ages ago. But yeah, now they're just there. I think they have a great shot of being a really good tag team, just the way like the Riot Squad is too. But I feel like it just doesn't matter. So we get Alexa's Playground. Can't wait to show it to him when he gets back. Made no sense because she's like, he gave it to me, but I can't wait to show him when he gets back, as if he hasn't seen it, but he's the one who made it. So it doesn't make sense. Maybe waiting for Legends Night. The Fiend is, Hogan. Because he loves Hogan for some reason, which could be a spoiler. Waiting for Randy to come back. She calls him out. The music hits, then stops. She tries again to call him out. The music hits, then stops. We get the Funhouse theme. Randy is there since he knew it would be empty. He boots Huskis, which I thought was hysterical. Grabs Mercy, throws it at Abby through the window. Even if he does come back, he will have nothing left except Alexa. He grabs Rambling Rabbit and rips the head off. Alexa's asking him to stop, pleading with him to stop. Let's see. We get Alexa challenges him tonight. He accepts. Recap of Nia taking out Charlotte months back. We get a backstage interview with Flair. Nia is not the most feared, unless you're talking about Shoot. Because they're like, oh, she's one of the most feared. I'm like, yeah, you fear her if you're worried about getting hurt in the ring, but not actual. Same resolution to get to the top and stay there. Asuka crashes with the Happy New Year tiara and a horn, and Charlotte is like trying to pretend like she's like happy. We get AJ versus Elias. Elias focusing on the left arm shoulder. AJ gets dumped on the apron and then posted. Elias does the Taker type raw into a Meteora for the 2 count. Riker tries to go after AJ, but almost scares him off. Elias hits a drift away, but only for a 2 count. Elias gets crotched on the top rope. AJ hits the Pele. Elias hits a TKO, but only for a 2 count. Eventually, AJ hits his phenomenal forearm for the win. Raw talk with Ricochet from last week. Said he can't continue to be the doormat, needs to try something different. So we get Ricochet versus Mustafa Ali. So we get an Ali promo saying for Ricochet to start thinking with his head, not his heart. Ricochet super aggressive out of the gate. Slapjack, then Mia, both try to distract Dijak and Mace, send him into the barricade. And then we get... So Ali hits a splash all the way to the floor from the outside. Back from break, Ali hits a backstabber for a 2 count. We get a flip over German suplex by Ricochet, which looked awesome. We get a kickback by Ricochet. Mace pulls Ali out of the ring. Retribution surrounds the ring. We get it. And then Ricochet goes on, just absolute tear. Hits a DDT on Dijak, a drop kick to Slapjack, and then a shotgun sends Ali to the post. Hits a tilt-a-whirl DDT on Mace. Goes for a shooting star, but Ali gets the knees up, who puts him in the Koji clutch, and then Ricochet passes out. So for the win for Ali. Ali grabs the mic, says another defeat. When are you going to learn you have no chance? Gives him a chance for a new beginning. And Ricochet says no, hits a recoil on Ali, and then runs off. So clearly this isn't ending. Backstage interview with Nia. Flair is smart to be afraid of her. Resolution says end Flair's rise, get the titles back, and then officially enter the Rumble. Shayna then pops her head back in and says, you know what, I actually like that idea. I think about entering the Rumble and winning it. Drew backstage interview says exciting to face Lee on Legends Night. Happy to see Lee step up. You could beat anyone on he could probably beat anyone on the roster except him. Flair versus Nia. Asuka is out with Flair. Shayna is out with Nia. Running boot and drop kick sends Nia to the floor. Nia then gets sent into commentary. We get Asuka spinning back fist on Shayna on the outside. Nia gets sent into the steps. Flair goes for the figure 4, gets countered. Flair gets pulled back into the corner. We get a sit-out powerbomb by Nia for a 2 count. Asuka gets sent into commentary by Shayna. Flair hits the figure 4. Shayna gets the clutch on Flair for the DQ loss. Asuka runs them off. This makes no sense because it's like, okay, as always, just DQs, 50-50 booking. Where are they going with this? Nobody knows. Her Business arrives early. They abuse a production assistant to get out of their way. Another Angel Garza interview. Describes his first year on Raw, new beginnings for the next year. Charlie asks who the rose for. Truth runs into him in the locker room, the 24/7 locker room, chases him. It's destroyed. He gives it to Charlie, saying it's the thought that counts. I don't care. They recap Big E winning the IC title, which I thought was interesting. Hardy congratulating New Day for Big E's win. They'll win back the tag belts and gingerly touch their tips. Little bronies. Matt Riddle comes in and says, we can be called the Little Bronies. And Xavier Woods is like, nah, I think that's copyrighted. The Positively Hard Bros. And they're like, no, I don't think that works either. So we get our 8-man tag, New Day, Riddle, and Hardy versus the Hurt Business. Lashley says a forecast for next year. He's going to enter the Rumble. He says he's going to enter this year's Rumble, which I obviously means next year. Lashley is manhandling Riddle. They're taking turns on Riddle at this point. We get a hot tag to Hardy. The faces are taking turns on Shelton now. Back from break, Hurt Business are in control. Lashley hits a flatliner on Riddle for a 2 count. Riddle taking more heat and gets the hot tag to Kofi, who gets a little offense in, then a blind tag to Woods. They slingshot Cedric into the ropes. We get a swanton by Hardy. Lashley breaks the count. Everyone's getting their shot in, just one back and forth. Twist of Fate on Shelton. Hurt Lock on Lashley, on Hardy again for the win. So he keeps getting the Hurt Lock on him pretty much every week. We get a beatdown on New Day, but they're able to escape. Riddle hits a final flash knee on Lashley, and the faces stand tall going up the ramp, even though they lost the match. So we see Miz and Morrison. They're like, Morrison goes to Cena. Even Cena lost to Kevin Federline. Pierce comes by, brings the Money in the Bank case. He says he'd love to throw it at Miz, but Miz gets the case back because he was correct. Morrison was the one that cashed it in. They start celebrating. This is so fucking stupid. So dumb. So dumb. So we get Alexa out to the ring in the main event of the evening. Gives the Rock hand gesture calling out Randy. So Randy's music hits. Where is he? It's not about him. It's about me. Alexa grabs a gift from ringside, unwraps it. It's gasoline and matches. She leaves them at his feet, challenges him to set her on fire. Randy's not buying it. She pours a trail to herself. And then, he's still not going to do it. Alexa then gets really pissed, pours the circle around her, says Randy doesn't have the guts, calls him a little bitch. Alexa then douses herself in the gas. And then Randy says, you think I'm not capable? It's what you want, which is why maybe he will or he won't do it. And the lights go out. Randy lights the match, which is facing camera, and it goes to the end of the show. So we don't find out exactly what happened there, but I'm sure we will. So we get NXT next. Another card for a memorial of Brody Lee. Swerve Scott versus Bronson Reed. At first I thought this was going to be like the rubber match between him and Atlas because, Atlas won, then he won, and there was still beef between them. Bronson's does the camera now shakes when he stomps for a dramatic effect. We had a diving shoulder block off the apron by Reed, a sneaky chop block, and then the house call kick by Swerve. Swerve does the suck it for some reason. Roll through flatliner by Swerve for a 2 count. We get a bonsai by Reed for a 2 count. Choke slam by Reed for a 2 count. Headbutt by Swerve tries to do that when the ref isn't looking to get the advantage, but it doesn't work because Reed just shakes it off. Ends up hitting Samoan drop in the tsunami for the win. So I don't know what this does for Swerve, because they had this new attitude. He's got new ring gear, but then he just lost. Regal for Breakout Star of the Year is out there saying the nominees are Pat McAfee, Damian Priest, Shotzi Blackheart, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis, Timothy Thatcher, Raquel Gonzalez, Santos Escobar, Ilya Dragunov. Shotzi is the winner. We get a little video package and an acceptance video from her. Atlas and Ruff are arriving earlier today. The Garganos are also arriving, and they see a black hat in the hallway. Johnny's freaking out because of the curse. Grizzled young veterans versus Breezango. They get the jobber entrance though, the veterans. Breezango in control early. We find out that Dusty Classic will return in 2 weeks. Drake with the sacrifice in the corner where he sacrifices his body to save Zach Gibson. We get a hot tag to Fandango. Fandango dives off the cage, hurts his knee though. Back from break, the veterans are attacking Fandango's knee. Get a hot tag to Breeze. Fandango sent into the steps. Then the veterans hit Ticket to Mayhem on Breeze for the win. And then Everrise come out on the ramp and they're talking shit. And the ref is holding them back. And then she's like, "Screw this," and leaves. And they're like, "Wait, no!" And then they run off. We then get our tag team of the year look. So the nominees are Undisputed Era, Brazongo, Imperium, Gallus, Legado del Fantasma, and Lorcan versus Birch. As always, Undisputed Era wins 3 years in a row. But we find out a little wrinkle now that Adam Cole and Roderick Strong will be the ones representing Undisputed Era in the Dusty Classic. That's very interesting. No Bobby Fish. Obviously, Kyle is now is on his singles pursuits. So yeah, Zion Bowie, they're looking like they've completed their training. Face painted woman gives them like marks on their face, blows smoke to their face, and then leads them into like some kind of lighted area. So we find out that they will be back next week. Mercedes Martinez off of her return last week against Valentina Feroz. Mercedes takes her time just squashing Valentina, hits an air raid crash for the win. Our next award is Female Competitor of the Year. Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, Kaylee Ray, Tegan Knox are your nominees, and the winner is Io Shirai, another video package. We also find out the Male Competitor of the Year, Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, Keith Lee, Volter, or Tommaso Ciampa. Cole wins 2 years in a row. Gives props to Kyle, though, about how he's going to win it next year. Another match, our next match is Roderick Strong versus Peter Dune. Strong with the jobber entrance, Dunn with the half jobber entrance. He's already like out to the ring. Really even throughout. Dunn is doing his joint manipulation stuff. We get an armbar by Dunn. Strong muscles him up for a powerbomb for a 2 count. Eventually, Dunn hits the finger snaps into the bitter end for the win. And then we get Match of the Year, which goes into a nice little after part. So we get the Fatal 4-Way Iron Man match, Finn versus Kyle, Walter versus Ilya, War Games match, or Io versus Charlotte versus Rhea. Finn Balor, Kyle O'Reilly from, I believe, TakeOver 31 wins. Finn goes over to Regal, says he doesn't need his, says he'll take Kyle's and give it to him himself. So Finn walks out, sees Dunn at curling position as he's leaving his match. Says a lot of people want the title, so you better get in line, because Dunn was like, I want that. Back from break, the title and the trophy are in front of the front and center. Kyle deserved this, but it didn't surprise him. Kyle cuts him off, comes to the ring. Finn doesn't need it since he has the title and the steel plates in his jaw. Participating, Kyle says he's been participating long enough. Finn says he's gonna make him pay for breaking his jaw. Finn gets bleeped from something I didn't hear exactly. And then Scarlett's speaking in like some weird tongue. I don't know exactly what it was. What's in the ring belongs to them. So Cross is with her. And then the camera pans a little backward, and we see Priest behind Cross. They just start beating the shit out of each other. They take each other out through the plexiglass. They're fighting into the tech area, and then Priest reverses a Saito through the table. Scarlett's laughing and looking on as the two of them are just beat to shit. We then get a really cool Rhea Raquel video package, which I didn't know they were actually very close friends when they got to the Performance Center starting out. They even got matching R&R tats. So this has actually been a really good build-up between this match. So we get Legado del Fantasma in the ring. Santos Escobar's jacket is just absolute fire. They take a moment to realize the year they've had. They're not here to be popular. They're here to dominate. Regal looking for a challenger for him, but no one can touch him. Lucha House Party music hits, which is interesting. Lindsay says it's nice to come to a place where they're not chasing champions. Very nice. Nobody owns Lucha Libre, so they hit the ring. We find out it's going to be a tag match, Legado del Fantasma versus Lucha House Party. Ref in to say Regal just made the match. Stereo dives by Lucha House Party. We get Mental League dealing. Barrett making fun of how easy it is to beat The Miz. It was pretty funny because of Grand Mental League beating Miz. He's like, yeah, I beat Miz. Everyone beats The Miz. Lucha House Party's working too fast to keep up. There was just too many moves. I couldn't even get them all down. We get an assisted Rana on Joaquin Wild by Grand Metalik to the outside. And then we get a Poison Rana on Mendoza by Lindsay. We get the tight rope walk elbow by Grand Metalik for the win. Santos is pissed. Grand Metalik is motioning that he wants a shot at the title. And then we get a Future Superstar of the Year award. Austin Theory, Jake Atlas, Leon Ruff, Casey Catanzaro, Caden Carter, Indy Hartwell, Xia Li, A-Kid, Afi, I forgot whatever, and then Pretty Deadly, I forget the last name, and then Pretty Deadly. Austin Theory wins. He's holding his whey protein with the Garganos. Says he shares it with Indy because Johnny told him to. They're going to break that curse. And then everyone's mad at Theory for talking about the curse. You can't say the C word, throws the way, and it turns out he actually throws it at a mirror, which breaks it. So Johnny's already flipping out, and he's like, you know what, I got to go to my match, and then walks under a ladder, and then Candice tells Theory not to say anything. So the next and final award is Overall Superstar of the Year, and it's Io Shirai. We get another video package from her. We then get our main event, North American title, Gargano versus Ruff. Both kind of get jobber entrances. Ruff going for multiple pin attempts, throwing Johnny off his game. Theory for the distraction, but it doesn't work. Ruff gets dumped to the outside. Gargano's in control. Ruff climbing to the outside, climbing on the outside stuff, which looked pretty cool. Gargano gets the advantage again on the outside. Ruff taking heat during picture-in-picture. Ruff finally gets an advantage, hits a snap German suplex. Corkscrew cannonball in the corner by Ruff for a 2 count. That was actually really cool. We get a super kick and then a long dart and then a fake super kick into an actual super kick for a 2 count, all by Gargano. Gargano counters the crucifix bomb, gets a power bomb on Ruff for a 2 count, puts him in the Gargano escape. Ruff is able to get to the ropes. We had a diving cutter by Ruff off the apron, which I thought was really cool. Frog splash back in the ring for a 2 count. Ruff setting up an avalanche Rana. Gargano drops him on the turnbuckle, hits the one final beat for the win. The lights dim, and then we see Loomis looming above. We then find out that another match made for New Year's Eve will be Santos Escobar versus Grand Metalik for the Cruiserweight title. And that is NXT for the week. And last but not least, we get Smackdown. New Year's Smackdown. So once again, another Brody Lee card tribute, which I thought was good. Recap of the cage match from last week. Roman comes out to the ring with Jay and Heyman. 2020 has been rough, but as head of the table, you make it work. He wears the gold glove because everything he touches turns to greatness. He's got the Midas touch, apparently. Roman saved Heyman, and that's genuinely honest, kind of. And then he says that Heyman is genuine and honest. Jay, an example of what he can do once he acknowledged Roman as the tribal chief. Kevin Owens' music hits. Roman says to cut the music. No one wants to hear from him. He's done with him. He's like a roach that won't go away. And then Roman's just running him down. Roman, according to KO, is the embarrassment because they failed ending KO's career. Big Dog replaced with a giant bitch. KO says, you know what? I don't want to fight you. I want to fight Jay, and I'll make him pay. So we had a recap of the Big E Intercontinental win. We had a match, Big E versus Corbin, non-title. Sammy's on commentary. He gets hit with the jacket toss, which was funny. He wasn't defeated. He was ousted. Sammy on commentary is the highlight of the beginning of this match. We get Big E gets posted. Corbin counters the spear through the ropes to the outside. We get the big ending. Sammy comes in for the DQ. Forgotten Sons come in. Apollo ends up coming to Big E's aid, helps clean house. And then, as usual, so stupid, we get Big E and Apollo versus Sammy and Corbin. Tag match. Apollo's taking heat. We get Sammy with words for the Forgotten, basically telling them to listen to him as well. Hot tag to Big E. We get a Big Rig reference by Corey. Deep 6 on Big E for a 2 count. More arguments with Sammy and the Forgotten Sons. Sammy almost haluva kick on Corbin. Stops himself. Corbin and the Forgotten Sons decide to leave. They say, you know what, screw it. And then Apollo hits the toss powerbomb on Sammy for the win. KO backstage with Pierce. Says, you know what that means. Pierce says, you know what that means when he's on the phone with somebody. Nice little reference there. KO is talking to Pierce saying this isn't the Pierce he knew for 15 years. because he wants Jay. Pierce says like his hands are tied. Says the only people that matter are the ones watching. That's what Pierce told him long ago. Convinces Pierce to give him Jay Uso. So we get a backstage interview with Big E and Apollo. From Rome to Big E is talking about his win and saying from Rome to Rochester. Obviously, a shout out to Brody Lee. Says all the little Amandas and Nolans were celebrating once again. Amanda, his wife, Nolan, his youngest son. Says, he will be like the Toronto Maple Leafs, a fighting champion. This was all about him celebrating Brody Lee, and I loved every second of it. Says he's going to issue an open challenge, and Apollo's like, nope, I accept. I did help you win and all. And they started like laughing really loud with each other. We then get tag match, Riot Squad versus Billy and Tamina, or so we thought. Squad are getting the jobber entrance, and then Natalia's music hits, and then Billy apparently is just the manager. Billy's just squawking, and it's pretty funny. They can't stand her, the Riot Squad. Tamina goes for a Samoan drop. Billy on the apron distracts for Liv to hit the roll-up win. Then Billy is celebrating as if she was representing the Riot Squad. So I'm a little confused as to what's going on, but it's pretty funny. We get another tag match, Sasha and Bianca versus Bayley and Carmella. Sasha and Bianca are working very well together. Back from break, Bianca's taking heat, selling a left arm injury. We get a hot tag to Sasha. Carmella's taking heat now. Corey with the Beskar armor reference for Sasha and the Mandalorian. Becky stops Bianca from using the hair to pull Sasha into the corner. She gets sent into the steps. We get Carmella with 2 super kicks. And then we get a bank statement on Carmella. Reginald actually grabs the leg and pulls Sasha out, which should be a fucking DQ, but for some reason it wasn't. So rolls out of the ring. Reginald then gets in the ring, then rolls out of the ring, does a backflip off the apron. So he's basically like showing his athletic prowess. Sasha gets a hit on Reginald, and then back in the ring, Carmella hits what I think is awesome, a float over X Factor for the win. So Sasha and Bianca, Bayley and Carmella, I feel like this should just end up being like a 4-way. That would actually be really cool. Roman, Jay, and Heyman are seeing the match graphic on screen of Jay versus KO, and then Roman saying after everything he's done, they still don't appreciate him. Sends Heyman out to find out who doesn't appreciate him, like basically who made the match. But we know it's Pierce. Like, one, either you were watching the product, or you just know that Pierce is the one that makes all the matches. So I just thought that was stupid. Street Profits are out to the ring. Apparently Sonya is back and just walking past everyone. She's been reinstated to Smackdown, so that's interesting. I thought they were going to do a little more with it, but they didn't. Street Profits with an absolutely awful segment. The New Year's Smoketacular. I mean, this stuff is just written poorly. Going over their bona fides. 2021 predictions. The Intercontinental Champ will become the best-selling shirt. Dolph will get a nickname, Heart 8 Kid. Rudolph attacked them, which I thought was great. Also, Dawkins was playing drums during this. Super kicks for each of them. Chair shots to Dawkins. Ford's leg wrapped around the post, and then a chair shot to it. We get a backstage interview with Dolph and Rude after that. Said, what was the reason? Really? They're aces. They're the Dirty Dogs, and they want a rematch for their titles, even though they've lost every title match they've had. Tag match. We get Bryan and Otis versus Cesaro and Shinsuke. Earlier today, Cesaro and Shinsuke interrupt a training session with them to make fun of them. Bryan hits a dive on Cesaro, but catches him for a pop-up uppercut. We get a weird transition to break with Otis like running at them. Like it just was like in the middle of action. Back from break, Bryan's taking heat. We get a lot of references to Bryan in the Rumble, so that's very interesting to keep an eye on. Will Daniel Bryan win the Rumble there? We get the Harper Bossman slam by Cesaro for a 2 count. Hot tag to Otis. Discus clothesline by Otis. Another shout out to Luke Harper. Hits the Calipitter on Shinsuke. On Cesaro. Shinsuke breaks the pin. Otis then misses the powerbomb. The match breaks down. Everyone's just getting their shots in. We get a knee plus on Cesaro by Bryan, and then a yes lock on Shinsuke for the win. And then they do the Three Amigos dance with Gable, Otis, and Daniel Bryan, which I thought was very weird. I don't know if that was a reference also. Roman in his room, Heyman says that it was Pierce, and goes, of course it was. Roman tells Jay to go out there and show them why he's the main eventer. And then we get our main event, KO versus Jey Uso. Senton's on the outside and inside by KO. KO targets the left leg, says it's not even his. He's beating up Jey, saying it's not even his fault. Goes for a stunner. It's countered into a super kick. KO misses the super kick badly, but it looks like it hit him. Jey sent into commentary. Back from break, Jey misses a splash, hurts his ankle, and then KO hits the stunner for the win. KO post-match attack hits another stunner, grabs the headset. Roman, come take care of your family, you bitch. Jey gets handcuffed to the rope, super kicked. KO undoes the cuffs and brings Jey to the back, beating him up along the way. KO is about to do a dive off the stage, but Roman attacks him. Roman and Jey then beat down KO into the Thunderdome. They beat him with chairs, and then they throw him off the stage through the tables. And that is the end of SmackDown and the week in review. So a lot of references to Brody Lee, Luke Harper, John Huber, which I thought was very nice. Moving of storylines, nothing too monumentous over here. Some good matches. As always, though, I do like to give my match of the week. There was nothing too great, so I'm going to go with this KO Jey Uso match, more for the beatdown after the match, obviously furthering the story of KO and Jey Uso. This is one of those where, the multiple rematch and stuff can get really grating on people, but it's because of the character work by Roman, by KO, by Jey Uso that makes this compelling. And the way they're booking the matches, they're not just squash matches, they're not just clean wins. They're the way they're doing it is really good, and I like that. And then the post match beatdown on KO and just showing that he's just such a baby face, getting his ass kicked, and he keeps coming back for more. Really, really good. So there you have it. As always, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment. Social media is down there. As I said, Happy New Year to everyone. We made it through 2020. 2021 probably early on isn't going to be, just a full, happy dance and everything. We still got a lot to do, a lot to work on, a lot to get past, and we will. Just stay positive. So as always, be safe, love each other, and bye now.